How you doing? What I want to talk to you guys about, expat, hopefully her be back in the United States soon, is what Americans, I'm just putting Americans because I am an American, but you need to know about the Philippines tourist visa. Obviously, when you leave the United States, there's a couple things you're going to have to do. You're going to need a valid passport. Okay. Make sure that, as far as I remember, at least it's got that for the duration of the time you're staying. Yes, absolutely. There is a certain number of months. I think when I did it, I had 5 years left on my visa, so I didn't really worry about it. But um, you can get it renewed at the consulate without a problem. But you also need to have an onward or return ticket. So what I would suggest is get a short ticket for like somewhere, for example, going to Thailand or just somewhere, Hong Kong or whatever, because they do a return ticket going back to the United States is going to get pretty pricey really fast. Proof that you can support yourself financially if asked. I mean, I came with savings, just like anybody else. Most people do, and then you realize, well, remember that movie Hangover? Um, Something about Thailand. Whatever goes to Thailand stays in Thailand, or well, that's more like Las Vegas. But Thailand wouldn't let them go. It's almost like the same thing to that degree. But I'm gonna tell you what I did. I got here, had 30 days on the visa. Okay. And so what I did is I extended it for 30 more days. So that way I had, 30 days I was in and the next 30 days. But then I found out you could actually do it for 6 months at that point. So I had the 6 months plus those 2 months. That gave me 8 months that I could basically be here. Now they've changed it where you no longer can do the 6 months. You have to do either a 1 or 2 month stay. Make sure you don't get behind on it. There's people that have been here for a long time. There is not like ICE running around. It's a third world country, right? The power of the United States government has a lot of swing when it comes to, um, who's staying in our country and stuff like that, that we're all familiar with. Now, use the online system. I've never run into no online system here. So if there's one, maybe more power to you, but I haven't seen it. But go directly to the immigration office. Don't go directly to the main immigration office. Okay. If you're behind, prepare to be people on the take. Um, you can call them fixers or you can just call them crooked. You know, there will be people that will be asking for money and we've had to pay it ourselves for the given situation, or they could drag it out, and then obviously you kind of upgrade to get it expedited kind of thing. So that being said, just be well aware of that. My wife stays on this, make sure that we get there every 2 months, that we're in there. Basically, once you keep everything is straight, then basically just walk in there, probably less than 30 minutes. The office that we go to, we don't go to the main office because you'll be there for quite some time. A whole big long line. Those are going to be for specialty type of things. Now, a 6 month extension, like I said, they did exist, but for whatever reason, they got, I guess it was like under this long stay visitor visa extension. That program is gone. Um, Obviously, it says nobody gets approved automatically. Some officers still push shorter extensions, requirements, and practices vary by office. Okay. So everybody is doing their own thing. There is no set rule where I'm at. In fact, when I got the 6 month extension, I was actually here in Cebu area. And then obviously at that point, it's where they ended it as well, as far as I know, even though I went back up to Makati. Now, many Americans are told they renew every 2 months. This is extremely common now. A lot of foreigners in the Philippines renew every 2 months, pay repeated extension fees, maintain active tourist status continuously. Um, Now, the 24-month exit rule, that's the one that they got me under. That after I hit 24 months, or right before 24 months, you need to get out of town. If you don't get out of town, then obviously you're not going to be able to come back, or they might restrict you from coming back. Um, some say that it's 36 months. I was told it was 24 months. Me and Maria went to Hong Kong, and then we went to China, and then we obviously came back. Um, and of course she's a Filipino national. And from what I'm understanding, we should have just went and told them that we were married, and then that would have made it where I wouldn't have had to got a visa again. But there's a certain word that they use. What's the name of that word that you said they use for that? when you come back into the country. And, huh? What is it called? But what would you say was a term? Okay, now she don't know a term. So once it was a term, now it's not a term. So just tell them you're married and you should be okay. But thing is, we've been together a long time, so it probably wouldn't have been an issue for us. I wouldn't just probably do it if you're not too sure about it. But we didn't do it when we came back in. Then obviously she said, well, she didn't think about it. So now if you stay over 59 days, you usually need an ACR. It's an I card. It's for longer stays. So the ACRI card is an alien certificate of registration. That card I do have. I also have the driver's license. The driver's license test was ridiculously, for one, I've been logistics over 30 years, drove for 24 years. A lot of the questions and the scenarios were highly incorrect. And I brought that to attention. They don't care. Overall, I don't think most of these people have driver's license. They're just out running around. They're on their bikes or whatever they're in, and that's kind of the way it goes. Now, if you stay over the 6 months, you'll need an ECC before leaving. That's an immigration clearance certificate. I think that's actually like an exiting deal because I think it's over 6 months. Like you can get it at the office. Some of them you can get it at the actual airport. And if it's over a certain period of time, you have to actually go to the immigration office to get it. So that kind of how that plays in. So be aware of that. Overstay fines, it gets kind of stupid. The Bureau of Immigration lists $500 per month overstaying fine, plus extension fees, plus motion reconsideration fees in some cases. So it got really expensive. I think what we paid for me, get everything back in line after I got way behind because of some visa issues that I was having between the United States and the Philippines, that I think we had to pay like $2,000 for me. They can also be a $5,000 administrative fee, fine per year that you're over. So immigration may calculate partial years aggressively. Example, 18 months can be treated like as 2 years. So they're going to do what they want to do. Whether they keep the money or they put it back in their systems, I don't care. As long as they give me my visa, but don't expect people to do the right thing. But that being said, people online consistently warn, do not wait until the departure day to fix overstays. You're not going to fix it in a day. So you need to be ahead of the time when you get ready to do it. Everything needs to be legitimate, up to speed, and make sure. So what happens if you overstay? You're going to pay all back visa fees, fines and penalties, immigration holds. Immigration hold takes a minute to get it going because I'm not in the main city. It has to go all the way to Manila and get cleared. Denied departure. If you haven't cleared it, they're going to deny you departure. They're not going to just say, okay, well, you're at the airport and they're going to let you go. No way. Blacklisting is a possibility. I was worried that that might happen to me, but it did not happen. They did a security background check too. It wasn't like an MBI, but it was something else they ran just to make sure I had no outstanding issues within any province or whatever it was. So that did get run. And deportation in severe cases. And when they deport you, from what I've understood, that you actually go to a jail. I don't think it's just like the prison, but they got jails there like these holding places where you stay there until whatever action is taken next. And you're talking about slow roll, so you don't want to be deported. So keep that in mind. Let's see what else we got. So just remember about the ACR card and the ECC fees. There's obviously express lane fees, extension charges. So that's basically going back over it. Some expats report annual tourist visa costs reaching 60,000 pesos, depending on how long they stay and how often they renew. So you're talking about 60,000. That's over $1,000. Okay. So I don't know. I haven't paid that much. Right now, when we go every time, what is our average cost for every time I do my visa every 2 months? A visa. Okay, how much for every 2 months? Okay, so roughly 4,000. So 4,000 times 6. Let me break out the calculator here real quick. Make sure that I don't want to give you bad math, which that'd be 2,000, 24,000. So that's half or less than half of that, but it's still getting pretty far up there. So just be advised of that. Is it worth paying all that money to be here? I don't necessarily. I mean, personally, not for me, but I'm waiting on my wife's visa. So if it wasn't for her, I'd been already came home. But I'm just being steadfast. But just be aware of these visa costs because they could cause you some havoc. Um, you don't have the same rights. You know, you would think there would be more understanding because I know according to what we've done to what the president has issued, he's the commander in chief, but I don't understand how all the visa stuff works here, the legitimacy of it. There's no standard pricing, so expect that it could literally be all over the place. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope they didn't give you a negative vibe about coming here. I wouldn't see no problem coming here as long as you stay within the spectrum of the regulations, then you're in good standing. But don't get out there thinking, well, because there's no real tracking system to track people here to that degree that we're used to. Because you could disappear into the jungles and to the mountain ranges or into the islands, and they probably never find you. But that being said, keep that in mind. But outside that, I hope that helped you out, get some better understanding. I know that all this stuff people are not going to agree with. Well, they heard this, they heard that. Well, if you've ever been to the Philippines, whatever you say, well, go with it because you know how far it is all over the place. And, if you tell anybody any different, then you're lying to them because it's all over the place. But if you've got more questions, you got more concerns, especially if you're getting ready to move here and you need a job, make sure to get a hold of us. This QR code right there above my noggin. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. I haven't got a hold of something. It's making me sneeze and my throat hurts a little bit. But anyways, that QR code, that puts you at truckdrivernation.com. For people that get here and you don't have a job and you don't know how to actually work from home, get a hold of me. I will now our courses we charge. So don't think it's a freebie. But if you actually really want to know how to make money, I'll show you how to do it. You can do it on a part-time basis, a full-time basis. If you really do it the way that I do it, then you're talking about anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 a month is what you're actually making. But you got to really put the work in. A lot of people don't work like I do. I'm not one that wants to run the planet. I like doing everything in my own private time type of deal where I don't have to entertain people, that type of thing. So just keep it in mind. But you hit that QR code, it'll take you right to our website. The homepage, there's a lot of QR codes on how to get directly a hold of me because we have phone numbers, we have VoIP things, we have social media links, all kinds of stuff, other applications that we use, and all of them are in there based on your given needs. But anyways, that being said, I hope this helps you out, and just be careful, get informed, make sure that all the data is up to speed. I would definitely bring. I'm not saying give it to people, but yeah, you're bringing your your passport. If you're not sure what you're going to do, make sure you bring your birth certificate, any identifying documents, because it's really expensive to get them after the fact once you're here. So bring you a database or not database because it needs to be a hard copy. They're not on the same computer system like we are in the United States. So to make sure you bring hard copies of everything and they're all, they're authentic, not no copies of them. I'll get the originals. That way, in case you get hung up in any corner, that you got that available paperwork to actually get it done. Also, I would highly advise that anything that you have in relation to the United States that you extend it. So if you got driver's license, TWIC cards, any of that stuff, because I'm in logistics, make sure all those cards are renewed before you leave. Make sure your passport definitely has time. Now that you can get at the consulate or whatever, you can get your passport and all that stuff. But when it comes to everything to the commercial end, like driver's license, stuff that we use, like our medical cards, all that stuff, all that expires. Right now, I'm expired on everything. So that kind of sucks. That means if I decide I want to get back on another truck, which I highly doubt that at this point in my career, then I'd have to go back and then get everything, retake the test, retake the driving test, get the medical done, reapply to the TSA for background security checks and all that good stuff. So make sure if you're in that situation, whether it's nursing license, paramedic license, any of that stuff, make sure that everything's renewed up to the point that it can hold you for the longest duration in case you just decide not to come back home. Now, a lot of people come here and they never go back. But that being said, just keep that in mind. But anyways, I appreciate your time. Hope that helped. Reach out to us in your comments and stuff to us. Go into truckdrivernation.com. Go into our YouTube channel, Truck Driver Nation. a lot of my videos are not public because they're training videos and stuff like that and come in that aspect. But these things right here about moving around the planet and all that type of stuff, I decided to do them because I'm still here, and it helps everything to be fresh in my head, what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And hopefully this will help you out. But anyways, thank you for your time. Everybody be blessed. And I hope to talk to you again soon. I hope that actually you watch my videos again soon, because we need support. Trying to monetize this deal. Don't know how it's going to work, but the more of y'all reach out and help me, it obviously makes it a plus. But thank you so much.